What's going on, guys? Well, it's finally here. Tremonti-A, Dying Machine, their fourth studio album. 3 years, 2 years in the making, I should say. I've been very excited for this. They've released 4 singles off of it. I'm a huge fan of all 4 of them. I think all 4 of them are great songs. And yep, let's get right into it. I'm very excited. I was very excited to hear this. I've listened to the full album now. I have my notes here. I'm so ecstatic right now that this album is finally out. It's got so much to offer. I'm so excited to see the memories it fuels, and I'm just so excited to play this more and more as time goes on. So yeah, let's get right into it with the first track, "Bringer of War." This was one of the singles off it. I think it was the third one. Obviously, the intro to the album, immediately it kicks in. It's got this like ominous vibe to it. It's like it's just building up, and then it just, boom, it's got some cool drum fills in there, and then it kicks in immediately, just really fast, really aggressive. It sort of reminds me a bit of the song "Wish You Well," which is pretty cool considering I really like that song. And it almost has like a fun vibe to it. Like it's got such a bouncy, fun vibe to it when it first kicks in. You know what I mean? And it sounds really great. And then you get this. It sort of carries into the verse a little bit, and then you get the pre-chorus. It gets a bit on the darker side, which is really cool. I really like how when Tremonti does like those mood changes within each of his songs, and then it gets even darker in the chorus itself, which I think is just really cool. I love the chorus on this song. I really like the guitars behind it and the vocals. I really love how like dark and dynamic this chorus is. It sounds great. Then we get into track 2, which is "From the Sky." This is actually the first taste of music we heard from this album in the form of a little teaser. It's got a really great build-up in the intro, just like the previous track did. And then it kicks in, again, a really awesome kick-in. Sick riff, awesome riff. This one sort of reminds me a bit of "My Last Mistake." And again, that's another really great song. I like it. I must admit, it does sort of turn me off that they're sort of recycling. It seems like they are recycling a few parts here, but luckily you're not going to hear much of that throughout the rest of the album, so that's good. It's got a pretty catchy verse. It's got some cool effects on the vocals, which I really like. And then it has this chorus. I don't know if you want to call it a chorus. There's not really lyrics in there, but it kicks in, and it sounds beautiful. It sounds so awesome. It's packed full of emotion, and it's just so cool. It's so awesome. I love that part of the song, which is so great. And then you get into the second verse where like the drums sort of change it up a little bit, which I like when stuff like that happens, just because it's changing things up. A little bit of a breath of fresh air, which is always great. Then you get into the bridge, which it really brings in a whole different style. It almost sounds like it has a little tinge of nu metal in there, like from the early 2000s. I could see that being applied there, and then it's got a really cool dark outro as well. So I really like how this is really a song where it's this one and the last one are both songs where it's like really back and forth between the different emotions you're feeling, which is great. Then we get into "A Dying Machine," the title track. This is definitely one of the awesomest, like darkest, heaviest songs of the whole album, especially the intro. You get that intro, just the drums by themselves, and you get these really cool. The vocals kick in immediately, and they're just so awesome. He's just belting there, and it sounds so cool. And then you get a mood change again, and like I guess you want to call that the pre-chorus. There's really I don't know if you want to call that, because like you got that heavy verse or that heavy intro, I guess, and then you got that more emotional part. I don't know what you want to call that, but I really like that emotional part. It's a really cool mood change, and then it goes back to having that dark sound in the actual pre-chorus, that more mellow part. So I really like that. And then of course the chorus is just so freaking dark, and I love that so much. And, another side note on that sort of pre-chorus part, if you want to call it, I really like how they have the heavy drums behind the melodic music. I really like when they do that. They do that really well, and that's a great example of that. He's having Garrett Whitlock does some double bass work behind those more emotional guitars and those more lighthearted vocals, which sound really cool. And then the bridge sounds freaking awesome. It gets It gets more mellow, it gets moodier, and then it kicks back into that really dark, dynamic sound. And then of course you get the final chorus, a bit of change in the drums again, just like the last song I mentioned that. And again, this is just such a great song. I think this might be the best one that I've heard so far. This is also the first single we heard off it. This is definitely my favorite one we've heard so far. From the Sky Isn't That Far Behind, I think these two are two of my favorite songs on the whole album, but Dying Machine, the song, is just, wow, it's just so cool. Then we got the song Trust. It's definitely a unique intro. It's something we haven't heard before, so that's really cool. Again, it sort of has like a early 2000s like nu metal vibe to it, in my opinion. It also has some interesting lyrics. The song does as a whole. This is one of the more, it is one of the flatter songs on the album in terms of it doesn't really go anywhere. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I think songs like that could not hurt an album. It's definitely one of the more straightforward ones. I do like in the chorus though how they have that 12/4 time signature. Anyone who watches my videos, my like vlogs, would know that I love odd time signatures, and that's not really that odd. But I like simple things like that as far as timing goes. I think that really adds to a song from a musician's standpoint. So that's good. The bridge in the song is definitely my favorite part. It's definitely on the moody side, and overall it's a very unique song. It's something that Tremonti definitely hasn't done before. So that's really cool. And then we have Throw Them to the Lions. This is definitely one of the heaviest songs of the album. Another one of my favorites on the album. The intro sort of has some Last Hero vibes to it. It sort of reminds me of the song Crows on a Wire, which is one of my favorite songs off that album. Overall, this song is just so dramatic, and the vocals in the chorus I really like. They're very haunting and just so like epic, just dramatic. I just love it. And then you get another really heavy bridge with a really cool solo in there, and then you get into the final chorus. The drums change up a bit. They go like double time almost. It sounds so cool, and then it just ends. I really like how it's something as simple as having that little church bell at the end of the song. It's just so cool. I like alternate bridge tends to do that a lot too, and so does Tremonti. But I really like simple things like that. I think that really added to the song, even though it was just something really small at the end. But yeah, we have Make It Hurt. Immediately, this is a more familiar sound because in my opinion, the album so far has been definitely a lot of departure for Tremonti. Some of it at least. They're definitely trying a lot more things, but Make It Hurt, the intro is definitely straight out of the get-go. It's immediately a more familiar sound. It's got a really groovy, catchy verse and a really cool vocal melody on top of that. So that's really cool. And it's got the chorus on the song is awesome. It's so dynamic, so catchy. The drums on there are really fast. It's got really epic vocal melodies on top of that too. And then it just like, and then you got that like ending of the chorus, I guess you want to call it, or like that pre-verse. That I like how they did that. That's one of my favorite parts of the song, actually. In between like the first chorus and the second verse, it's not even that long. I just really like what they did with that there. Then you get into the bridge, which it sort of has some Disturbed vibes for me. I don't know if anyone else will pick that up, but that's what I got from it. And people, I mean, maybe you're gonna think I'm way off, but in my opinion, it does have a little bit of Disturbed in there, which I think is really cool. And you also got these really cool dark vocals in there, and then it ends with a solo, which is great. Great song. Then we get, I think it's pronounced Traipse, not exactly sure. But again, similar to Bringer of War, it's got a more ominous intro. It's got really haunting vocals in the intro too, which I really like. And it also has. See, I was sort of thinking about this because like when it first starts, it sounds like it's in 4/4 common time. Then you get into the chorus and it's in 6/8 now, and then like that, but that 4/4 part is still sort of playing over that 6/8 drum pattern in the verse. Maybe I'm just like way off here, but are they putting like a 4/4 guitar part over 6/8 drums? Are they doing that? If they're doing that, that's fucking awesome. Let me say that. But I don't know if they are. If they are, that's cool. But even if they're not, it still sounds really cool. So that's good. And It's got another cool dark solo in there, and overall, this is another really different sound for them, which they haven't really done before. So that's really great. And then we get into the first, the last. Guys, this is a beautiful song, and I know I've said that quite a few times, but this song, just it is absolutely beautiful in every aspect of the word. Every aspect of this song is beautiful, and every aspect of the word beautiful. I'll say that. The lyrics in the song are just so gut wrenching, so emotional. As a whole, it sort of reminds me of the album Cauterize, specifically a song like Dark Trip, or like the way ending of the title track Cauterize, how he sort of has that, like, you know, that little guitar section there, just for that extra little icing on the cake thing. It sort of reminds me of something like that. The chorus in the song is just so full of life, full of light too, and it's just absolutely amazing. Overall, the song has a really great build up, and this is just, again, I'll say it, this song is just absolutely beautiful. It is absolutely phenomenal, in every aspect of the word. And I'm really excited for what this song will, the memories this song will fuel, because I'm sure they will be amazing. We have A Lot Like Sin, similar to Make It Hurt. This immediately is a more familiar sound, which is pretty great to see, especially because, like I said, we've had a lot of departures from this album so far, which have all worked. I'll say that. But it is great to have some familiarity, especially in a Tremonti album. The intro riffs overall I really like the intro riff of the song. Vocals and the verses are really great as well. Tremonti really exhibits his ability as a vocalist here. He goes way up there in his range, which we don't really get to hear often. So that's really cool. That's got some more interesting lyrics, which I also like, specifically in the chorus, which again, this really just like shows Tremonti's ability as a frontman, which he really pulls off really well. So yeah, and again, overall, this is it's a more straightforward one. I do really like the bridge of the song, though. The bridge does get a little bit darker, which I really like when Tremonti does that. I feel like he tends to do that a lot, but it always works, and it works in this song as well. Then we get into The Day When Legions Burned. That title is just badass, let me say that. And overall, immediately, this is very thrashy, maybe the thrashiest song on the whole album, which the thrashiness, that was one of my favorite aspects of both Cauterize and Dust, how they did a lot there, and All I Was for that matter. But immediately, this is one of the most thrashy songs on the album. It's got some more really impressive vocals in there. It also has a pretty cool effect on the vocals on the chorus. I really like when Tremonti does that. Has some effects on there just because, just for that extra little bit of pizzazz, you know what I mean? Then there's this drum fill that is like right before the second chorus. It's really short, but I actually really like that. It's another very small thing that really adds to the album, in my opinion. And again, like just like that bell at the end of I think it was Thrown to the Lions. Just like the bell at the end of that song. Like this is just something small that adds so much to the album. So much, not just the song, but to the album in general. And overall, this song has a really cool trade-off between the drums and both the intro, where it has that double bass part, and then the more open part, and then the like double time part where, you know, the snare goes double time, and then the chorus as well. How it's at first it's like constant snare, and then it's half time. But I really like how they sort of switch up the drums consistently like that. It also has two solos. It has a really good one in the bridge, and another cool one in the ending. So that's good. I like when Tremonti does two solos on a song. Most notably, I really like Radical Change, and then a couple more songs I know I really like. I just can't think of them off the top of my head, to be honest. I'm just so like focused on this album right now. It really is a great album. Next up, we have As the Silence Becomes Me. This is another one of the singles. I think it was the most recent one. Another very diverse sound for them. It's really interesting. The intro is something totally new. It's something like, almost like, what's a great word I can use to describe that? It sounds like it was out of like some like medieval times like video game or something like that. I don't even know how to describe that. I don't even know, but it's totally something new. The lyrics are very interesting in the song. The only thing I don't like is that I feel like they're a little bit repetitive, a little bit. Um, but speaking of the lyrics, the delivery of them, the vocals on this song are very. It's weird because they're aggressive, but at the same time they're melodic, and I do like that a lot. And then you get the bridge of the song again is a bit more on the like climactic side almost. It's pretty explosive, which is really a change in the song considering overall it's a pretty calm song. Overall, it just got a great build up. It's another one of those songs that starts out slow. The first chorus is slower, and then by the time it's the final chorus, it's explosive, dynamic, climactic, all those words you can use to describe it. It's another one of those songs which we've already had a couple of those, and there's still one more to come actually. But next up we have "Take You With Me." This was the second single, the radio single we got off of it, and I know typically the radio singles aren't like favored specifically on my channel. I usually lean away from those like generic rock radio songs. But let me tell you, this song is a really great song. I love this song. It's such a fun song. It's full of energy and it's so emotional. I just love it. Right off the get-go in that intro, it packs so much emotion. It just makes you smile. I don't know. It just makes me want to smile. Maybe that sounds cheesy, but it just makes me want to smile. Then you get into the verse where, again, just like I had said in the title track, it's got some really heavy music, but with like melodic vocals behind it. And like you got this like Tremonti's just like shredding on his guitar, and then you got double bass parts, but like the vocals in this song, Tremonti does a great job on the vocals on this song too. He really gets high up there, especially in the verse. But overall, like the vocals in the song, they're very lighthearted, very emotional, but you got this heavy music behind it. I really like that. The pre-chorus on the song's absolutely beautiful. I love that. I love the lyrics on that, even though like I sort of talked about this on the last album review I did, Dust, the song Betray Me. You look at the lyrics, read the line, "I'll take your hand in mine and never let go." Just read that. Like, if you're being honest, it sounds a little corny. That sounds a little corny. But the way Tremonti does it, it sounds beautiful. It sounds awesome. And I don't think any other guy or band or anything could do that. He did the same thing on the song Betray Me with those lyrics on the chorus too. So those are two very similar aspects there that I think he did really well. The main riff, or the chorus, just has so much energy. It's packed full of emotion. When you get into the bridge on the song is very dynamic, a bit on the darker side, so a bit of a mood change there, which I really like. And like, it's just a really cool mood change, which I didn't expect, considering this is definitely one of the more light-hearted songs. Then finally we got the album ends on another solo, an outro solo, which is really cool, and like the way ending of the song, that final note, just so much emotion to end the song. I love the very ending of this song as well. And overall, this is just a really great song. I love this song, if I'm being honest. Finally, we have the final, I guess you can call this the final like actual song on the album. There's one more after this, but it's an instrumental. But this is the last one with lyrics and vocals. Immediately it starts. It starts and it sounds bluesy. I got a real bluesy vibe from it. So again, something else that's different on here. So that's just like, it's so cool. The amount of variety he brings to his albums. I just love that. Overall, the song just has a really cool mood throughout it. It's got this really ominous, mysterious vibe to it the whole time. It does take a little while to start building up, but when it does have a pretty cool build up. He does have some really cool vocals, especially in the final chorus. He hits like, for like a split second, he hits this high note that like I feel like he's never done that before. He actually does it a few times. He does it like, I want to say like right before the final chorus, and he does it like right after the final chorus too, like at the way end. And Then the ending of the song, by the way, is just like really dynamic and dark. So another mood changer. Just like he just brings so much variety to his songs, and so, like his songs are just all over the place in terms of moods. And this is another one of those songs. And finally, we have the outro song, which is Found. It's instrumental. It's very different, actually. I actually really like this. I think this is a really cool way to end the album. Really cool way to end the album. It's just like, it's something he's totally never done before. I think this might have been, correct me if I'm wrong, but this might be the first instrumental that Tremonti has ever released on a CD, on like a major label CD. I don't think there's ever been a Creed instrumental. I don't think there's ever been an Ultra Bridge instrumental that was released on a CD, and there's never been a Tremonti instrumental released on a CD. So, and before you Ultra Bridge fans comment about Havo Rabo Taco Salad, that was not released on a CD. So, I think I may be right, but correct me if I'm wrong, and I will admit if I'm wrong, of course. But anyways, yep, that's it. That is A Dying Machine. Overall, I would rate this album a 28 out of 30. I don't think it's perfect, but at the same time, this is definitely, I think this is tied for Cauterize as their best album. Maybe a bit better than Cauterize. This may be their best album. Time will really tell for that one. I think it will have to, it still definitely has to grow on me, considering it literally was just released, you know, an hour ago or something like that, 20 minutes ago even. So it will definitely have to grow for me, and time will tell where I truly think it ranks. But as of right now, on its release date, I really do think this is a great album, and I'm very excited to see where it goes and where I go with it. So, anyways, thanks for watching. If you like this review, please check out. I just uploaded 3 reviews of Tremonti's previous albums, so if you like this review, please check those out as well. And yep, that's about it. Thank you for watching.